Welcome to Hindsight Hacking. I'm Corey Carter.
And I'm Ron Cool, and we have talked to hundreds of entrepreneurs hacking their hindsight to give you better foresight.
And now we're bringing you those same great interviews along with other mindset hacks, visibility hacks, and traffic hacks, and more to get you all the tools you need to gain more visibility and gain more traffic.
And of course, gain more sales. So head over to gethhm.com/toolbox to get all the free resources to help you get more.
And so, without further ado, let's get to it.
Hello. How's it going? And today, I think we have a very important topic because as we near the end of the year, I know I am all about a little reflection. I am all about a little planning, a little goal setting, and not necessarily New Year's resolutions, but just, more like the goals and the planning and where's my mind at? What kind of resetting do I need to do? What kind of things do we need to take off our plate? And so, Ron, thanks for putting this as the conversation for today.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the question we get a lot. It's mindset or is it reset, right? And we want to make sure that we help answer that question. Yeah.
So for me, I'll tell you a little bit about the mindset piece. I think it's a little of both, right? Like as far as mindset goes, do we actually get into like a frame of mind state that we can do something, right? Do we have the belief system that we can do something? Are we getting to like learning things to get away, any of that stuff, right? Like where are we at? And then reset, it's like, hey, I am really, really bad at this. I need to know it, or I'm upset and I know it. And I need to like take a minute and breathe and start over.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you can have both of them at the same time, right? So if you need to start over, that's important. If you approach something, I mean, we were just having this conversation earlier with a couple people that they're already the subject matter expert in someone's eyes already, right? Mm-hmm. So if your mindset is you're the subject matter expert in what you do, you'll approach what you do differently than if you don't have that mindset. And it's truly just have that mindset and move forward in a way that you would be in that position a year from now. And everything will conspire to get you to that place.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, I've always had kind of a positive mindset, a positive outlook on things, and just a faith that it'll work out in a sense. Like even when we started our podcast a year ago, like I didn't have a ton of stress about would it work? Would we get through it? But at the end of the day, I didn't really know. Right. And so I think this is one of the first years where I've got a high mindset and just thinking in terms of business, I've got a high mindset with expectations and execution and just that the faith that the people will come to us as we take care of our current clients. But now, like I want to be more intentional. Like I want to, from you can call it a daily affirmation or some kind of intentionality about what and who we attract to us. We're like, what are we going to manifest, right? And I believe that probably more now than any time before. And it's for our business, and it's for, like the COVID situation. It happened for us, right? Like we were able to leave the 6-figure jobs because it happened for us. And now it's like, gosh, we just got to keep manifesting, right? We manifested our perfect day to a point, like we've started it, right?
Right.
And now we get to have coffee with our wives every single day, no matter what. There's no leaving to go to work, right? Like I guess there is leaving to go to work as we walk up or down the stairs to an office, but it is so different now that it started with that manifestation. It started with that mindset shift. And so for us and for Hindsight Hacking, I have never had a greater intentional or thought and ability of the amazing things that can happen.
Yeah, I will tell you, I've always been like, quote unquote, a dreamer, right? or a visionary, whatever you want to call it. People are like, oh, you're always looking for the future. But you know what? That gets me through some hard things. That's kind of my mindset. But it also helps me get to where I'm trying to go, thinking about where I want to be and how I want to get there. And yeah, basically everything that's happened in 2020, that conversation you had, it's like to us or for us, which one is it? And it was truly a for us situation because the path we were on, we would have got there, just it would have taken longer.
Yeah, another 12 months, basically at that rate. So, all right, but let's talk about the other side of it. Now, a reset. Now, this is something where a perfect example is dieting or eating well or exercising, right? Like we know how to work out, we know how to eat well, but then, sometimes you just get in a rut. You just get in this, I don't know, if you're driving in the car all the time, you end up at fast food places, or if it's Christmas and there's 1,000 cookies around, you end up eating a whole bunch of cookies, right? Like we know that cookies aren't the best thing or fast food is not the best thing. But for me, I have to take kind of a mental reset, a kind of a hard break before I can really go back to whatever is important, whatever I need to have that better, reset of.
No, absolutely. I mean, it was funny because Rachel and I, we stopped drinking soda last year at this time. And we've recently, it's creeped up every once in a while where if we're out, we'll have a Diet Coke or whatever. But she bought some. Like literally the last trip she went. And I was like, what are you doing? She goes, yeah, I was just craving it. I was like, right. Cause we've introduced it back. We introduced a bad habit back in. And if it's a bad habit, it's going to be just as hard to kick it again. And so she's like, I'm going to have one for dinner. I said, you can. I'm going to have water. And that was so hard. Right. But I've yet to open up the can. Oh, that's not true. I had one. I did have one the other day. But it's hard because it's accessible.
Yeah.
Right. If it wasn't here and it wasn't accessible, it's easy to reset. But it's when you have it in the house and you have to reset, you have to choose not to drink it or not to have it. It's hard.
And so, I mean, again, from a food perspective or a drink perspective, it's easy if it's not in the house. What about resetting, just from a digital world, right? Like we've had, people in the space that might have rubbed us the wrong way and it affected us in certain aspects. And so we let that change how we felt. We let that, change how we interacted for a while, and so it's like, how does one kind of reset themselves, and to a point where somebody else doesn't affect you? Because whatever for our sake anyway, what they were doing was not affecting us exactly, but we let it affect us, even though it shouldn't. Like, how does one reset themselves in something like that?
Again, this is me giving advice, so it's really easy for me to do. It's me not doing it is totally different.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real for a second. They could honestly care less about how it affected you. Like they have given it zero thought. And they probably have no idea it's affected you.
Yeah.
So you have to just move on and say, you know what? It's just not worth my time. And if that means you're not following them, you can still stay friends with them if they're on social. But if you're not following them, so you don't see them all the time, if that's triggering you, start engaging in more positive things that don't trigger you and start getting out of the situation that triggers you to feel a certain way. And for us, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. And whatever that situation was, they know what they did, and that's it. They've probably given zero thoughts to it after. It bothered us. And that's okay.
Yeah.
We learn from it and we move on.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So to recap kind of where we're at, it's that time of year. Like, I don't know about you out there, but for me, I love taking the time and I wish I did it more often. But taking the time to really look at what's working, what's not working, where's my mind, how can I fix it? What's a bad habit I can reset on to get rid of? What's a good habit that I can add? What's that change of mindset that can eliminate some of the stress? That change of mindset that can increase the number of wins, right? Like, there's so many different things. And so mindset, reset, they're, in my opinion, two very, very different things. But out there, whoever's listening, if you're watching this live, hit a comment. Let us know. What's your take on mindset reset? If you watch the replay, same thing. Let us know. If you're listening to the iTunes platform or anywhere, go rate, review, subscribe, download. And if you're following us in Clubhouse, definitely come join the fun. Yeah, Ron, I think we're all over the place with these daily hacks. So to anybody out there, thank you.
Yeah, guys, we thank you for being the best part of the Hindsight Hackers community.